are not only green here. Where we are, some trees, you see them being yellow and some being even purple color and different colors. This is me, Reverend Helen Dorkenu, bringing to you live here on our studio, Radio Voice of Naija, the topic on fatherhood today, the missing vitamin V. I encourage you to give us a call, 020-737-1619. We are transmitting right now on 103.8 megahertz cable and 105.2 megahertz ether. Fatherhood today. Bridging the gap between fathers and sons have become ever more so vital for this and future generation. The older generation of fathers from the former Dutch colonies of Suriname, the Dutch Antilles, and Aruba, which have experienced a fatherhood crisis since colonial times, are beginning to fix this problem. For migrants in the diaspora, the fatherhood crisis is becoming a disturbing everyday occurrence, I beg your pardon. To see how some are now tackling this dilemma, we are hosting a platform group called Vitamen V, which has launched a platform to address this social fallacy. Join our broadcast now to hear a father's perspective on the singles parent story. Hello. You may call our studio line on 020
You're not on air. You have to start all over again. Okay, I'll just notify. Thank you, Nancy. Start all over again.
Well. Once again, I'm here. My name is Apostle Helen Rudokeno, transmitting live on 103.8 megahertz cable and 105.2 megahertz ether. This is your popular radio program, Radio Voice of Naija Good Morning Show. We are hosting today someone that is doing something very, very vital in our community. As you know, we've had discussions on single parents, and we think it is something troubling. And then some fathers have also arrived or have arisen to also give their own opinion about what brings singleness. But on our topic today, we are focusing on fatherhood, the missing vitamin V, as it is called. Now, as an introduction, bridging the gap between fathers and sons have become ever more so vital for this and future generation. The older generation of fathers from the former Dutch colonies of Suriname, the Dutch Antilles, and Aruba, which have experienced a fatherhood crisis since colonial times, are beginning to fix this problem. For migrants in the diaspora, the fatherhood crisis is becoming a disturbing everyday occurrence. To see how some are now tackling this dilemma, we are hosting a platform group called Vitamen V, which has launched a platform to address this social fallacy. Join our broadcast now to hear a father's perspective on the single parent's story. You may call our studio line on 020-737-1619. Our guest for this broadcast is no other person but Mr. Owen Breveld, who have worked with Braden for 10 years, an organization responsible for entertainment production at home and abroad, and also bringing fathers of diverse origins to discuss and promote fatherhood on a larger scale. Welcome today to Radio Voice of Naija, Mr. Orville. Is that?
Yes.
Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yes, Orville, yes.
Orville.
Yes.
I love the smile you are giving to me. So you are ready for this discussion?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Wow. Are you ready?
Yes, thank you for being here in the first place. It's a great, great invitation.
Amen.
To share it. Thank you. Yeah.
I love it that you also came. Now, how long have you been working with your organization?
Well, it has a large history, because from my 10th on, I wasn't raised with my father. My mother and father, they split, they divorced. And after my 10th, I did very little to no contact with my father.
Yeah.
Until my brother became father when he was 26, and I was an uncle. And we, at first time, because we were raised in Houten, that's near Utrecht, that's actually a 100% white community.
Yeah.
And we were the only colored people, Surinamese people, in the fast environment over there.
Yeah.
And the first thing we noticed, when this is really nice. And my brother told me, I never forget that day, because he got a daughter named Jasmine, and he said, you know, this is so much fun. We gotta do this different.
Okay.
And then when I was 23, I got my first son, Desai. And I've seen, by being I didn't know how to be a father. It was really, I never learned it elsewhere, but the joy, the conscience of the privilege you have being a father, that was driven me. And later on, and I'm a teacher in communications and teach on various universities.
Yeah.
And all those schools, when I saw black kids, they really had very little connection with their fathers. A lot in Southeast, mostly there are just single parent homes with mothers, with only mothers, and no connection. Because when I moved to Southeast in '95, I was at a secondary school, Rijksbos, and I noticed that I was special in Houten, back in Utrecht. I was special that I didn't have any connection with my father, because when we went to basketball championships in the weekend, those kids always drove with their fathers.
But was it of your own making that you did not, you had an absentee father?
Yes, as well.
Or was it your making, or was it was because of maybe difference between your father and your mother?
Yes, exactly. And later because after all the way in 2009, after a lot of things happened and changed, I saw, man, there's a new generation that want to change and want to do things different.
Exactly.
But there was a lot organized in Amsterdam about single parenthood, about the strong mother, the strong black mother, everything about mothers, talking about fathers, but they were never there. So I thought something has to change. So I actually accidentally sent an email to a journalist, and he asked me for I said it wasn't my intention. I just sent an email to a lot of fathers I knew, just to come together in No Limit in 2009 to talk about this.
Yeah.
I only had the title Vitamin V, because vitamin stands for if you have vitamin C in your blood and you have no vitamin D is a lack. You're sick.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot do without. It's like an airplane has 4 engines, and people fly. You can fly with 1 engine, but not through it how it's supposed to. So vitamin M is the mother vitamin. Vitamin V is essential, and no luxury in these times, because that's what I've seen. And then suddenly the journalist, he published it in the newspaper Parool, and suddenly had a lot of fathers in No Limit, and that's how we started to organize roundtable sessions where there were no discussions but conversations, because the story about the father is unknown. Why the father have run away? What did he feel? So if we have these round tables, and we did it on many places, we did tens and tens and tens of them for various communities. But the conversation was important because you wanted the fathers to feel free to share.
Right.
Because we don't own the truth. We need to get by sharing.
Now let me come in a little bit. You said vitamin M is the mothers.
Yes.
Okay, so you formed, you are the one who formed these slogans.
Vitamin V.
All right, and then vitamin V, because actually when I saw vitamin V, because father in English is spelled with F.
I know.
So I didn't understand what is vitamin
Dutch
V.
is with V.
So father in Dutch starts with V.
Yes.
So I was wondering, I kept just wondering, I told my husband, what a funny organization, what are they doing?
Yes.
And then he read something, he read about your organization, because somebody recommended this organization to us.
Yes.
When I was talking about the single parents, single parents issue. So actually we've had many mothers coming, and all the time mothers are speaking out, but fathers are nowhere to be found.
Yeah, really?
So now the question I want to pose to you, from the series of meetings you've had,
yes.
What was the reason why fathers are not coming out? Is it that they love to be absent fathers, or is it that they are shy to talk about their experience?
Yes, we have different strategies.
Please say it the way it is, so that we can be a blessing and to others who are listening to us.
A few strategies. We first started to organize in Bijlmer Park Theater. So then there was like then there was a bridge for them to go there. But now we go to all those cafes where you find those fathers and places. So instead of asking them to come to us, we came to them. That's what we do now. We go to schools, we go to football, soccer clubs, and so on. We have these conversations with moderators, and the thing is that they also, because we go to various Antillean Surinamese radio stations, because we know that the father who doesn't speak is also as important.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pain, and as well the sons and daughters, but also with the fathers, because we are afraid. There's a lot of fear to share. Of communication, because we don't say all fathers are bad or so on.
No,
because
no.
the thing is that the lack of communication. We never talked about this. I actually never talked about my mother. I talked with my mother a lot about my father and why, but we never went in depth because there are so much hurt. And the vitamin V stands for individual lines. In the point of the V, there's the child.
Yeah.
And the one leg of the V is the mother, and the other leg is the father.
Yeah.
And regardless of their relationship, that makes the connection with the child is important.
Very.
And in this time, we cannot allow, none permit us to let this child just by itself without being responsible. Because children, I've experienced this, they live with so much anger.
Yeah.
You know that how many I go to.
Wow.
So a lot of times to prisons.
Yeah.
And I see so many black kids.
Yes.
Really, like the multicultural society, it worked in the prisons.
Yeah.
On the worst places. So many young black boys never had male coaches. And even at the secondary schools, at the primary schools, they're mostly women in front of the classes.
Yeah.
Because they never experience male authority.
Yeah.
That's a psychological thing. And the thing is, we really need to realize that we have the key. We men, none the government has to help us.
No
bureau jeugdzorg, no other institutions. We ourselves are the cause and we are the solution. So and that's important.
So let me ask you something here. When the relationship goes sour, and then the mothers hijack the children. The mothers, they keep the children to themselves. So the fathers of these children become absentee fathers because they cannot see their children.
Yeah, but it's a choice.
So now
so
if that be your situation, how would you now still make an impact in the life of this child?
So there are a few things. When there's a legal divorce, like also the legislation, the legal lines in Holland, for example, are really not very positive and beneficial for fathers.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have your official custody at the beginning of a relationship, when there's separation, the fathers are left out. But practically, on a daily basis, fathers should be really aware of the value of their investment, material and immaterial.
Yes.
The value of the investment in a child is so important. We can teach our daughters what a real man should look like, or how it should act. Nobody else.
Yeah.
We could show our sons how to treat women.
Yeah.
And how to save money, and how to fight this society. Even if you have your father and mother really close, which it's still a tough time.
Yeah.
It's not an easy world with a lot of dangers.
Yeah.
So we are not a luxury. We are essential and natural, and we need to see. And our slogan of Vitamin V is vaderschap is a voorrecht. Means fatherhood is a privilege.
It is.
We don't put a problem up front, but a privilege. It's like I'm a teacher at university, and I always teach my students. I don't teach about leerplicht, about the obligation to learn. But the privilege, if you see the privilege of fatherhood, you will shine out. Because
but my question, Owen, is it that the mothers don't see the privilege of fathers?
A lot of time, because they mostly it's a generation. It's inherited, because most of the fathers, especially in Surinamese and a lot also African Americans, and I see also in Western African societies, is that even those mothers haven't experienced a father, because it's transmitted from generation to generation. Okay. Because a father right now, it's also economical, and the world we think in the communities, where African communities, that we don't realize that the whole world sees what we're doing. It's like your child, every single person in this world, in this society, is a company. Every single person, me, everybody is a company, and there are investors, shareholders. And the world is seeing that we don't invest. That it's like if I have a phone here in my hand, and if I say I don't invest in this phone, why could I expect somebody else to invest in it? If you don't invest in your child, how can you expect the world to invest in it? Because the value starts with the person that created it. So we need to be aware that if you have the feeling of that you're unwanted in this life, if that's the start. Because I had a lot of questions. Why did my father left? Doesn't he want any contact with us? You know, now years later, also through the Vitamen V sessions, I also learned to forgive, and that's really important.
Yeah, but before we go even to that side, because you have not really dealt with my question, what I want to hear from you, because you've had series of discussions on this with the fathers, and I believe that you came in contact with different fathers and with different children. Okay. Now, my question is, do the women, do they realize the importance of fatherhood in the life of the children that they are hijacking? Because and if they do realize, why are they not open to allow the children to be talking with their fathers?
At one side, mostly because there are so many situations, but we heard a lot of situations like a lot of those mothers, they are actually, they learn because, for example, a lot of Surinamese daughters, their mothers say to them, they give it very easy to leave their men. They don't learn, and they're not raised with the value of a man in the house. Yeah. They say, man, if he's doing this, you can leave. You know, just leave him. You have got your child. You can do it by yourself. Because the mothers, they repeat, we can do it for ourselves. We don't need him. And he is raised by a mother who also tells him, listen, if she's not nice to you, you can leave. They are trained a lot of times.
Really?
They are trained with just not with the absence of the valuation of fatherhood.
And how can these mothers who have not experienced fatherhood and now they are now mothers?
Yes.
How can they be helped, Mr. Owen?
Of course.
Please tell me, because you really have hit some realms in my heart. I've been hearing them talking about strong women.
Yes.
And we are strong women. So I begin to wonder, even myself, who is happily and joyfully married, I begin to think, am I a weaker sex? Because when I sit with them and I'm talking with them, they're saying, we strong women. Yes. So those of us who are having husbands, yes, and then maybe having a family.
Yes.
So are we weaker because we are not doing it alone?
I think.
How can they be helped? That's my question. Because they have the mentality that they are strong women. I'm raising my child alone. I'm a strong woman. So I can do it by myself. So now you are saying to me that it is a generational problem.
It is.
So how can we stop this generational problem continuing?
The first thing is that the fathers and mothers who see the light, they should unite and communicate and make themselves visible. Because the next generations the next generation see us coming.
Yes.
They look at us. Our children, they're looking us to right now.
Exactly.
You know, I see a lot of, I've been invited to a lot of gatherings and evenings and events to talk about social problems in African and black communities.
Yes.
And it's a lot, you know, we have a lot of people, you know, they are doctors, they're professors, they come to talk about interesting things.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is our question, how are your children doing, my brother?
Yes.
Or how are your children doing, my sister?
Yeah.
But bad and good news is a good answer.
Yeah.
If you say they're not doing well, we should start to be honest.
Yeah.
Because life here in Holland and everywhere in the world is getting more difficult and more expensive.
Yeah.
So we should work together and have open communication without judging. That's important. Because that's why at Vitamen V we don't have discussions. We have conversations. Because we all have our own truth. We all have our own problems. We all have our own blues. We all have our own trouble. Everybody, nobody is more than the other. So we just tell and we share, and we have really heavy sometimes a lot of emotional conversations, because fathers never told their story.
Yes.
And they are hurt as well, but they learned like this. But we need to break the circle, because only light goes through darkness. Only light. If there's only darkness, the only answer to darkness is light. So we need to always start with, not with a problem, but with a solution. And the solution is a good example.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of on TV, when youngsters, they look at television, they see MCs 50 Cent in a car with thousands of women.
Yeah.
Or we have so many bad examples for our children.
Yeah.
But we ourselves can be the right example.
Okay.
Not the government, not the president, Barack Obama is a great symbol.
Yeah.
Even whatever I think about his political choices, besides everything, he is the best campaign of an African black man you can ever see, because he is very loving with his children and his wife.
Yeah.
The best campaign, there was never something like this.
But he also talks more about his mother. He talks more about his mother.
Yes, with his father.
He talks more about his mother. I've always been hearing him talking about his mother, going to his mother's side.
True.
But I've never heard him going to Kenya, because his father also is from that side.
I know. And the thing is, we should realize how important it is, and the world. You know, when you start your life as a young kid, and you have a feeling you're unwanted, that's the source of the greatest anger.
Okay.
Of what is you. These kids, they walk with anger so much. That's why it's for them so easy to kill each other.
Yeah. Because
they don't value life itself. Because somebody else in their life didn't value theirs. The essence is your fatherhood. You don't have to go back. I always tell the Surinamese people, they're interested in it's important in historical information about Africa, about our roots, about slavery, about all the times that have been. Yeah. But if you don't even know who your father was and what he's thinking, that's a much more interesting history, or as they call black history.
Yeah.
Our black history starts with our mothers and fathers, and why we are here in this situation. Because it's an alarm, you know. Besides, I'm really feeling fortunate, and I always have a smile when I think about my two sons, you know. It's at the other hand, you know, for example, my oldest son, he's going to secondary school next year, so I have looked for him for a good school.
Yeah.
And I go to all those schools, and I see at those meetings, I only see mothers.
Yeah.
Black mothers and children, no men, and it's and we are not invisible. We are not transparent. The whole world see what we're doing. And that's really important, because when they reach the age of 18 or 19, they need to get a job. And if those people in the world, those employers, they see our children coming, and they know it's a child that has no value, and that's raised by only one mother. Why should I invest in him? If you don't invest in your child, why should I invest in him? There was just a businessman sitting here, and every businessman knows he won't invest in anything if nobody else invested in it.
Yes.
So our children, they walk around on this world like orphans, you know. And we have our fathers, and we have so much things to offer. We African men, You know, even if we are generations away, like, you know, even in America, in North America, people from China who have generations lived in America, they're still Chinese.
Yeah.
So that's why I consider myself, even age is African.
Yeah, African, yes.
That's a really important start of, because if we know that, we know our values. And our values are rich. We have a lot of, because if we went through so much time, we must be really strong. If we went through so much hard times, we must have strong. African men, they know how to improvise. They know, they have a great heart. That's why we're the best in the world to interpret world religions. To be the best speakers. Yeah. Martin Luther King, there was never such a speaker in the history of the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we have a value as men, and we can, and also our daughters are really important, you know, because the daughters, they have a really a small bridge to get pregnant.
Yeah.
They're pregnant at 15, 16 years old.
Even
because they not just only value the motherhood, but also the fatherhood. A really important task of motherhood is to appreciate and acknowledge the value of a father.
Exactly, and that is
and also it also vice versa.
And that is the area I want you to touch, because I asked you this question for the third time now. How can they be helped? How can these mothers? Because I've also listened to so many fathers. You consider their being absent in the life of their children was not of their own making. Yes. And here in Netherlands, we see that a little thing, they quickly close their doors against the fathers, and then they give authority of the child to the woman.
The thing
right. So how can, because if the women can be helped, then I think the issue of going to the youth sorrow and going to this and will be solved.
I know, but
because permit me to say this, you may not be in a very healthy relationship, yes, or both of you may not be able to work it out, but because children are there, the two parties, I mean the man and the woman, must be able to have a tolerating spirit, so that the father can always have the children to, you know, invest in them on his own pace, just like the woman is as well investing on the children on her own pace. But what do we see here? The women easily close the door. And then, because the relationship have gone sour, so that means this man don't come in here anymore. I don't want you to have an affair with these children. They are my children. Yes, so how can they be helped? That's the question.
The thing is, it's like it's a we need group. We need to come together, and like every therapy, because when there's so much pain, it's a heart that's frozen. There's ice on the heart because there's so much pain.
Yeah.
And when pain is the base, when blues is the base, you really need good therapy, without judging, just conversation. Tell you how you feel. The father should realize that he's not right, nor maybe she, but this is her story. And the mother should realize, let him talk, and it won't be fixed in one conversation.
Yeah.
We need a lot of therapy. We need therapy, like every relationship needs therapy and communication. That's really important for the sake of the child. And the child, regardless of how the relationship is, the child needs to experience harmony. Even if it's not parental harmony, like we love each other for the rest of our lives, we have harmony as parents, because we decide together that this should be the best. We need to create the best world for our children, because everything they inherit, not only what we say but what we do. They watch us more than anybody else, and they will copy our attitude towards life. So we need to realize that we have a great task as men and women, and we need in this world. This world is, you just watch the Dutch television. It's ruled by men. And men rule this economy, and we know we don't need to stand back, because we have a great value, and especially we need a lot of therapy sessions. Women and men need to talk more open about a lot of issues that bother us. Not discuss, because most of the things we only organize debates before. And the thing with Vitamen V is that we organize conversations.
Vanaf 11:30.
You know, we organize open conversations where freedom of speech is the most important, and letting our stories, our own private stories, be shared.
Well, somebody who is out there listening to this discussion, please, you may wish to respond, or you may wish to add to what we are saying, or you will want to get in touch with Mr. Ovell on this matter. Give us a call right now on 020-737-1619. We are discussing on fatherhood today. Well, let me ask you this blunt question. Were you an absentee father? And how did that make you feel? You?
Myself?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Were you an absentee? Are you an absentee father?
No.
Okay, so you are with your kids?
Yes. Because my first wife, actually, I have a son with my first one and my second.
Okay.
But they are from Thursday till Saturday they were with me.
Oh, okay.
But I'm always make sure that they feel that I'm around, even if I'm not there. And I have a lot of, and for example, I'm training myself also because of the other fathers, what I learned from them.
Yeah.
For example, when I picked my son up from school on Thursday, he jumps in the car, and what did you do automatically? How was it at school? Okay. And automatically the kids say it was okay. You know, so, and then you stop out, what did you do, and so on. But now, after some months of training, because they are training me as well, I've learned teach him to give also the bad news. And that's also interesting, because we are so trained that these kids, they feel responsible for the heart of their parents, because they always want to give the best news, because they're concerned. We think they are already busy and they are worried. But now I train him to give bad news. Now he's starting, so we name it green or red. Yeah. Green is good news, and so and he starts in and say red. And he says, well, yeah, today, you know, this and this happened. Then the bad news comes. But it's really open. And that's really important. If you have a relationship with your kid where you can share good and bad, also about myself. Yeah. Because if I show him my weakness, I show him my strength.
Okay.
You know, we want to be tough and strong. And we men, you know, when we talk, we only talk about, we don't go too deep. We don't talk about our children, about our blues, about how we really feel. Yeah. We talk about tough things and how much money we have, and our work, and women, and how good she's looking, and whatever she's doing. That's how we men are. But we need to create a new trend where we just talk about how we really feel. Brother, man, I'm not feeling so well today.
You made mention of your ex.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then you have an ex, and at the same time, you are having a very solid relationship with your children.
Yes.
So, that means that somebody can have an ex, and this ex will allow this man to still come in and have fellowship with the children.
Yes.
Is that what you mean? But what about in the situation where the ex is not as good as what you have?
I know. The thing is like I feel really blessed, because also, I must say, the grandmothers, for example, my mother and the mother of my ex, they knew each other from 10 years old in Suriname. Okay. So we are protected by the family as well, to always to stay open and have a friendship. I have a very good friendship with my ex, very good relationship, because we realize that the joy of our child, you know, is the best thing you can have, you know. Okay. And we talk about a lot of things. We have a lot of conversations, because that's important, open communications. And the thing is, with people who are in a different situation, most of the time, the base of the relationship between man and woman is the source. If there's no open friendship and communication in the first place, when you are together and don't have a kid, it won't be there when you have children. So whenever you have a relationship, you can already practice motherhood and fatherhood when there are no kids. Is starting to practice on communication.
Okay.
Just open to give bad and good news, because the problem comes in, and because a lot of causes for splitting up is trust.
Okay.
When one of the parties don't trust each other anymore, it starts to be heavy.
Yes.
Or because then they don't win. Because if you don't trust somebody, you won't share. If you don't trust anybody, you won't share your problem or what's in your heart. So what I can say problem is start sharing. Realize that the bad news might feel really bad, but when it's out of your heart, you can let it go. And as a parent, you need to talk, and there's so much discussion. Learn to divide those problems, the relationship with your kid and the relationship with your wife, or relationship with your husband or ex-husband.
Okay.
It's a state of mind, but it needs practice. It's like I'm a musician as well.
Yeah.
You don't learn how to play guitar in a day.
No.
You need to practice and do it over and over again. But your mind state must be openness. Okay. You first need to realize, man, I open my heart right now, before you have a discussion with your ex, and it's a troubled situation. Allow yourself to find peace and rest before you start this conversation. And say to yourself, man, I need to let her talk. And I don't want to be right, because it's not a challenge of who is right or who is not right, or who has, it's about opening heart and give our focus on solutions. It's like the world.
That is in a situation where the ex had the ear to hear.
Yeah.
So that's in a situation, because there are some ex. I've seen some ex who are very, very hostile to their partners. They are very hostile, very, very in enmity. So they have polluted. There was a man who was here last week. He was almost shedding tears because of all the lies that the ex, that's a white man, all the lies that the ex is pouring upon the children. So he has been denied not to see the children for the past 10 to 12 years now.
Yes.
So some ex can be very, very, very
but the
nasty.
The ex should realize as well that the most devastating thing you create, and the people you hurt most are your own children. When you keep them away from their father, the ones who you hurt most is your children, and you increase the chance that they will be in the same situation.
Yes.
If you have an ex-wife, or you have a husband who left, do you realize how much you increase the chance that they will experience the same thing? And is it the choice for you that they have to experience the same thing as you did? Because it's pain. Pain is not good.
I would like to ask you another question, Orville. From all the people you've come in contact with, handling this issue, who feel it most? Is it among the children? Is it the female folks or the male folks? Who feel the absence of a father most?
Both.
Nay, is it the male folks? Like, is it the boys or is it the girls? Who are the ones feeling it most? And why?
It's like because it's a different thing. The relationship of father and daughter and father and son is totally different.
Okay.
But the thing is that the sons, for example, they have it the hardest.
Okay.
Because their responsibility as men to become men is really important. Because the others, they've seen examples of how to be a woman or how to run a family.
The house.
Yes, in the house.
Yes.
But the men, they don't have any examples. Besides if they're lucky, if they have uncles or so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But in the most time, it's not even asked. And so the thing is that those young men, they're trained on a different way. That's why they are so focused on limited relationships. On just a few months, it's enough. I just need to make love to this woman a few days, and then it's over. We go to the next.
Wow.
And then we go to because it's all like it's temporary. It's like this this plastic cup.
Wow.
You have to throw away, but
Yes.
they don't choose for something that lasts.
Exactly.
Because that's how they're raised. Because everything in their around surroundings is temporary. And the thing is, they don't realize that when you invest, they don't know how to invest. If you don't know how to, an investor, because I always compare with economics, an investor never invests for one day.
I don't think I buy to this opinion, because you made mention of Obama.
Yes.
All right, he didn't have any fatherly figure per se, because his mother was all and all for him, but he's now the president, and at the same time he has a very solid family.
Yes, but
he was raised by a woman.
I know, but I'm not saying that it's impossible to get and develop.
So any child that wants to be loose, maybe just wants to be loose. And any child that wants to be dropping women,
but still, people like Obama are exceptions to the rule, and that's what we should realize. Most of the percent in Saudis, I have all the figures.
Yeah.
70% of all households is single parent with a woman. 70% of Surinamese and Antillean and Dominican Africans are only with a woman. Because that's so, we should make ourselves visible and inspire others.
Let the light be on.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
It's not vacant. They do these things deliberately.
Really?
That's why, yeah. Because you are talking about them. Yeah.
And the thing is, we're being an exception, but we should be visible. But also, there are so little. You know, Bill Cosby started with the Cosby Show in the end of the 70s. There was the reason, because he said on television, we black men, we are always hired in movies to be gangsters. You know, to be tough. You know, that's the image all day. They were my heroes as well, you know. When I listened to hip-hop in the early 90s, when I go to school, I was crazy about these guys. I thought they were cool. They have everything together. They drive big cars, you know, because we are focused on money and the things we have. And they have all women of the world. The one looks even better than the other. I thought these people are rich. Because there's no priority to be a father. Nobody says, man, listen, brother, I make a rap about fatherhood and my ambition, because that's important. The same thing, the ambition, we always say that Vitamen V, it's like when you're young, you have ambition to be rich.
Yeah.
You have an ambition to be educated. You have an ambition to have a lot of beautiful women.
Yeah.
But you never have an ambition to be a good father or a husband. A father could. I'm telling you.
I'm glad you're saying this. Give us the ratio, because we are speaking something about the ratio of single parents.
And also not about motherhood. Because how can you talk about motherhood and not talk about the father?
Yes.
Because you won't become a mother without a father.
Exactly.
And it's not only a one issue thing. It's not like a throwaway cup in plastic.
Yeah.
You create something. And what we need to realize, that our children right now are in great danger because of that. It's not like we men and we women need to realize our value. That's important in everything you see in the world. For example, I'm really so much pissed all the time when they have to pay for everything in the Netherlands, because the Dutch learn about the material value of things.
Yeah.
But in the base, also their economical network, because my son is at a soccer soccer club, and in the board of the soccer club, they have fathers who make sure their sons have the best positions.
Wow.
Everything in Holland has to do with the network of family. The fathers, like we have, Lodewijk Asscher, he's the anchor man right now, or the elder man in now even vice president. He's vice president because his father has the network. And his father had the network to create a place for him. All the big boys network are 90% male, father to son.
Wow.
And we fight so hard, but we miss a link. We fight so hard, and we even a few of us, we even make it. And we think, man, what is this black man doing with the job?
Before even our time rounds up, I want you to please give us the ratio once again, because I believe that thousands are listening out there. If we can have the ratio, you said 70%? Statistics. If we can have the statistics. 70% of women are single here. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Because I believe somebody who is out there listening, if they can hear these statistics, it will touch every one of us. I will send the statistics, and it's heavy, but the thing is that the other hand is that there's a positive development, because the next generation, especially young men, fathers who seen the light, because they see, man, I did all those years doing without a father, man, how could he miss this? How could he choose to make a choice to stand behind? And we have, and we Surinamese, African people, in Curaçao, we love our gatherings, and we love to speak in about education, about religion, about anything, and we think, man, that's we come together and we talk about how smart we are, and this guy, he studies this and he's doing this work and he's driving this car, but we don't address our parenthood. And the strongest, the best man, you don't have to be a president. Everybody wants to go in politics. We Africans, we love politics so much. But the best thing you can do for your community, black man, is be a good father. Thank you so much.
There's nothing, because if you're a good father, another boy in the class will have an example of a great son and see a great man. The best thing you can do for your community is not being president, but be a president for your son.
Thank you
or
so
daughter.
much. Thank you so
That's
much,
the most
Mr.
important.
Orwell. Thank you so much for this frantic discussion we've had. And we think we will have you more and more to throw more light on this discussion. I think you have really been a blessing to us this morning. And those of you out there, and probably you've listened and you want to have contact with Vitamin V,
yes,
you can also go on our website right now, www.radiovoiceofnaija.org. You will see information, the photo of Mr. Orwell, and you will see his information, and you can also call him for other discussions. Otherwise, we will give you also the number of Orwell.
I would like to thank you very much, because this is our work. It's about sharing. We don't have the truth, but we together have the truth.
Thank you.
We need to share, and if we share, we grow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Stay blessed.